I'd like to thank the college football playoff, Bill Hancock and his staff for putting on an outstanding venue for, our team here in the Bay Area. We're obviously pleased and happy with what our team has been able to accomplish, this season, to have this opportunity to play against a outstanding Clemson team. I'd like to congratulate Dabo, his team and staff for, the outstanding season that they've had. When you play in a game like this, you expect to play against a great team, and Clemson's all of that. And our players are certainly looking forward to the challenge of playing against a really, really good team. So I'm really proud of, our team, and actually love, what our team has been able to overcome and do this year. They worked hard and really had a tough road to hoe to get here, and we certainly appreciate all their effort, togetherness, and things that they've done to be able to have this opportunity.
Coach Sweeney, your opening remarks.
Yeah, thanks for all of you for being here, and it's been a wonderful couple days. I really appreciate Bill Hancock and all the CFP folks for just the tremendous amount of organization that has to go into pulling this whole thing off. And so to just make it as routine as possible for the two teams. And so it's been a great trip so far. Appreciate Santa Clara and San Jose, all the folks here and that have worked all year to make this a great event. But really excited about the opportunity to compete, against the best team in the country on the highest stage. This is what we all set out to do, 130 teams, and you have two teams that have the opportunity to compete on this stage, and we're thankful and blessed to have this moment. And Alabama has been an unbelievable champion, and Coach Saban and the consistency that they've had is remarkable. So not surprised at all to see them sitting back here, but really proud of our team, and how we performed all year long. Incredible focus. This team is blessed with great leadership and just a great group of young people that have competed every single week to get to this point. So I have no doubt it'll be a heck of a ball game tomorrow night. Two great teams that both want to win, and so this is what we're all here for. But appreciate the opportunity to be here this morning.
We'll now open it up for questions. Again, we have microphone holders. Let us get you the mic. Give us your name and affiliation. We're going to start right here, middle left. Dennis.
This is for Dabo. Dennis Dodd, CBS Sports. Dabo, was there a moment in your mind, right here, was there a moment in your mind where you just, before you started playing Alabama in this current run, whether it was looking at film or just seeing how you guys were developing, where you said, yeah, we can play with these guys. We're on a level with them?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, when I got the job in 2009, I felt like that at Clemson we could build a program that could compete at the highest level. We were a long way away from that, that's for sure. But I felt like we had a few pieces in place, and we just needed to build an infrastructure. We needed to modernize, our program in every sense of the word, from staff to our recruiting to our facilities, the way the administration thought. I mean, you name it. But because we were competitive, but so I felt like at the very beginning that we could be a team. But for me, I felt like we needed to play a tough schedule. And that was one of my first meetings with Terry Don Phillips, was say we play a tough schedule in our league, but we need to if we're going to build a great program, the only way I can prepare the team is and listen, you can't be afraid to fail. All right, there's going to be some failure, but that's a part of your growth. That's a part of development. That's the only way that I'm going to be able to teach these guys what it takes. And so from day one, we've played, Georgia, we played Auburn 4 times. We've played, Texas A&M, Notre Dame, LSU. We've played a lot of people in and outside of our conference that allowed us to compete and develop the program to where we could, match up and have the type of postseason success that we've had over the past 5 or 6 years.
We're going to stay over here to our left. Heather?
Dabo, Heather Dinich with ESPN. What specifically has Chase improved on since the Syracuse game, and what is your confidence level in him should he be needed on such a big stage?
Just confidence. That's the biggest thing. He has the knowledge, and he's a redshirt freshman, so he's had a little more time in our system, and we knew he had the knowledge. He just didn't have really the opportunity to play yet. He's a very talented competitor. So the biggest thing that he's improved from that moment is just his confidence and his complete belief in himself and the team's belief in him. So we don't have any doubt that he can go in and perform at a high level for us. We've got all the confidence in the world in him.
We're going to move over here to our right in the middle.
The Bill Bender, Sporting News, has questions for both coaches. You both have talked at length about internal scoreboard and developing from within, but what's allowed your players to buy in and perform on these big stages so often, so consistently?
Well, I think what we try to get our players to do is play to a standard, be the best version of themselves. I oftentimes, get on our players even when we win, and people don't totally understand that because regardless of what the scoreboard says, how did you really perform? Did you perform, to your best of your ability? Did you create the best value for yourself and for the team by the way you were able to execute the discipline that you played with, how you were able to focus on the next play, not get frustrated with something that, was difficult for you? It's got to be a great competitor. You got to overcome adversity. So all these things create an internal standard that, we're trying to get players to play to that not necessarily is dictated by the score, who you're playing against, but it's about your level of performance and the standard that you play to. Oftentimes I use the example of, when I was an NFL coach, they would make a highlight tape for me of a player when we were looking at him for the draft. And all I was looking at was the plays that he played. I didn't know really what the score was in the game, who they were playing against necessarily, what the circumstances were. I was just evaluating how that guy played on those plays that he was in the game. So these kinds of things are what we want to try to get players to do to be the best version of themselves.
Well, I think that a couple of things. One is we're the same. I mean, there's a winning performance at every position. We're not asking them to be perfect, but there is a winning performance at each position. So, if you're a wideout, that winning grade for us is 85%. If you're a linebacker, it's 80%. If you're a D lineman, it's 75%. We have a grade. So we make a big deal out of that. It's not who we play, it's how we play. And that's what we talk about. And then the other thing is so accountability to that winning performance, number one. And then the other thing is we make every game the biggest game of the year. And that, people don't like to hear that during the week. But if you don't have that mindset, then that creeps in. That, fans have that mindset. They look at the schedule and they go, oh, well, you're playing, East Aboga State this week. And, oh, well, now we don't have to practice hard. Oh, we're playing Alabama this week. Okay, let's really meet. Let's really practice hard. And if that's your culture, then you're gonna be like this all the time. But when you make every game the biggest game of the year, and in college football, it is the biggest game of the year. Everybody wants to expand these playoffs. We've had a playoff since September. Every game has been a playoff game to get to this point. Every game. If we had lost to whoever, we're probably not here. If we lost to Pitt in the ACC Championship, we're not here. If we lost to South Carolina, we're not here. Every game is a playoff game. And so for our team, we truly create that focus and that standard of performance and guys taking pride. It doesn't matter who we play. How did you play? And we have a grade and accountability. And so now all of a sudden, you don't really get caught up in the logo of the team that you're playing. You just try to play the very best that you can. And so when you get in these moments, whether it's a huge game late in the season, both teams are undefeated, a lot on the line, whatever, it's just the next big moment because every week has been a huge moment. And so that's a mindset that you have to create, and you got to get the young people to buy into and the coaches to buy into, and that tone is set from the head coach. And I think that's one of the things that Alabama has certainly done. I mean, that, you know, because you're going to get everybody's best every week. So if you don't show up, you know, with that mindset, you're inconsistent. And so I think however we do it, that's what's created the consistency in our programs, for sure.
Move back over here to the middle left.
Cecil Hurt from Tuscaloosa News. For Dabo, I heard as a young assistant recruiting Jefferson and Shelby counties, you once went into the recruiting meeting and they asked for who from your area you wanted to sign, and you had 25 guys. You wanted to sign the entire class. And I'm curious if you still had that same enthusiasm for recruiting and how that has helped you as a head coach.
Yeah, well, that's interesting. You're really right on that, because, you know, recruiting has changed a lot. And back in those days, you know, nobody decided what they were going to do till January. And, you know, you used to get in these recruiting meetings and coaches lie. Oh, my Lord. And, you know, they're going to get this guy, get this guy, get this guy. And then, you know, and then so, you know, I figured out as a young coach, I would call, you know, 50 guys a week, 60 guys a week, because what I learned is, you know, at the end of the day, some guys weren't working like they needed to or whatever, or these guys that we're sitting in there saying these meetings we're going to get, well, then we don't get. Well, I'd sit here and I'd have all these guys that I'd been working all year long and developing relationships with, and so now all of a sudden, some of them guys we didn't want, we were begging to get, and I was always thankful that I put that work in so that we would have some guys. And so recruiting was just